What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance, and we have a guest that I'm super excited to have. We're in his space.
We are.
We're in the lion's den. Would that be? No. Anyway, so there's a movie, and in this movie, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. At one point, Jay and Silent Bob are talking to Ben Affleck, and they're talking about. At one point, Ben Affleck mentions the internet buzz. Jay and Silent Bob look at him and go, "What the fuck is the internet?" I am certain that there was a point that Kevin Smith himself said to somebody, "What the fuck is the internet?" And somebody had to explain to him what the internet was. That person, I believe, is our guest today. He's the person who probably explained to him what the internet was, helped him set up the View Askew message board, helped him understand how to build a website, who he constantly rails as like, you can have your own when you get those Squarespace ads. Yeah. Our guest today, one of the stars of Comic Book Men, Ming Chen.
What's up, everybody? Quite an introduction, gentlemen. Thank you very much for welcoming me to the language of bromance. And yeah, you're right, Kevin. I've had to fix an iPhone or two, maybe tweak some email. I actually, Kevin's very forward thinking though. He knew what the internet was. You know, I've been his guide along the path of his internet journey, I guess. But Kevin Smith, as self-deprecating as he is, he's I think he might be a genius. He's way smarter than he lets on, and definitely way more forward-thinking than anyone gives him credit for. So, podcasting. He started podcasting in 2007.
That's true.
Way before anybody else did. So, it inspired us to do it, and probably you guys as well. So.
Yeah, very much so.
Movement, we're a big part of that. I always like to coin him as like the man that launched 1,000 podcasts.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I mean, probably tens of thousands at this point.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Helen of Troy, but he's kind of the Helen of podcasting, I guess.
But cuter.
Yeah, possibly.
But so I know you helped him create the message board, correct?
I did, yeah.
And like you said, that's very forward thinking because he was very much it was like the Twitter before the Twitter, getting on there, talking with a bunch of people. It was all for a great cause too when he first set that up.
Yeah, and the message board was born of he just wanted to talk to fans. He wanted a way to talk to fans, and again, the forward thinking. He was at first. He wanted a chat room, so I'll go back to the beginning. I'll make it real quick though. Clerks, you guys saw Clerks. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, anyone listening to this has seen the movie Clerks.
I'm sure they have.
A little dirty black and white movie filmed about maybe 5 to 10 miles from where you're sitting right now.
Yep, not very far.
Yeah, and made $27,000. Kevin took out 10 credit cards and sold his comic book collection to make it. And black and white movies with a bunch of dirty language and no action. Typically didn't get any box office, and no one usually typically saw those movies, but it got big and launched Kevin's career. I saw it and I was like, oh my God, what is this weird movie with these weird characters in this weird state of New Jersey? And like, who writes a movie where there's a 10-minute scene about Star Wars and guys working on toilets on the Death Star? I was like, who is this guy? I like him. Like, I bet we could probably be friends if I knew him, but he lives in New Jersey. But I became borderline obsessed with this movie, though, just because I'd never seen anything like it. And I was trying to get all my friends to watch it. They're like, okay, what, are there any lightsabers in it? Or does anything happen in it? I'm like, no, but it's real funny. It's a comedy. And they would see the box art, and they'd be like, it's in black and white. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what is this, some kind of art movie? You're trying to trick us to watch some art movie? I'm like, no, it's not an art, not exactly an art movie. It's I mean, in a way it is, but not in the traditional sense, and no one would watch it. Just the black and white turned a lot of people off.
And you were in college at this point, right?
I was in college, yeah, University of Michigan.
Okay.
So, not terribly far from where you gentlemen are in Missouri and Illinois.
Yeah.
And how did you find the movie?
I was working at it was this little place at the student union of the University of Michigan where I was going to school. It was a combination video store arcade.
Nice.
You guys would have loved it.
Yeah, that's a great combination.
It was very RST video like.
Yeah.
Like if you put like some copies of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat in RST. That was basically where I worked because we only had one copy of every movie that came in. Which caused a lot of fighting because people want to try to rent stuff out. And
I want it. No, I want it.
I was like, no, you can't have like Untamed Heart starring Christian Slater. Like the guy who rented it last night didn't return it yet. So
we're still waiting on Prince of Thieves, man.
Every Tuesday was Black Friday.
That was a very popular.
Oh, it was.
It was a very popular movie. So I was just trying to find somebody to talk to about this weird movie that I just seen, and no one would watch it. No one knew. It wasn't mainstream, so no one really knew about it, even on a college campus. So I channeled all that fandom into building a fan website. And after I built it, 2 months later, Kevin saw it, and he gave me a call.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's like, hey, man, I love what you did. It's really cool. You violated 1 million copyright laws, but I don't care. I'm a guy who doesn't really follow stupid laws like that. Can you do this? Like, can you build more websites for me? I'm going to be making more movies. He just finished Mallrats, and it didn't do that great at the box office. So I think he was feeling a little down about his career, but he's about to go into Chasing Amy at the time I met him. And he's like, hey, I'm going to make this weird movie called Dogma. And I was like, I got plans. I got plans. I'm going to make a whole bunch of more movies. But I want a website to, just, it looked cool. This internet thing could take off. And if he could build more websites, that would be cool. But one of his requirements, he sent me a list of things that he wanted, and I think in bold letters, he had originally wanted a chat room. Kevin's an AOL user, even now.
Yeah,
he still has an AOL email address.
Like most of his podcasts, like I know, like Hollywood Babylon. Still, if you want to email him, it's an AOL account.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so he opens up his emails like, "You got mail." It still says it. And he wanted a chat room because that was big on AOL at the time. And I was like, all right, a chat room would be cool, but that would require you to commit maybe an hour a day. And for a man of your stature and of your busy schedule, it's not really convenient as far as connecting with people. It's like, how about I put up a message board where people can post questions and you can answer them at your leisure. So if you only want to answer one question, you can. If you want to sit there for like 3 hours and answer like 100 questions, you can. He was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And it took off. And he would never just answer one question. There were times he would sit there like all night answering people's questions. He'd be like, hey, I'm here, fire away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And people would post, and he would go down and answer. And
The Reddit AMA before there was an AMA.
yeah, exactly. Which is funny that you bring up Reddit. Like if you look at our archive message boards and Reddit, they look exactly the same. It's all text-based, threaded, less snarkiness and hate than on Reddit now, but yeah, which was cool. So we built this whole online community before there were any online communities. I like to joke around that like I was the social media manager before there was any social media, because that's what I did. I would connect with, I would get back with fans. If Kevin wanted me to mail them something like a prize or whatever, I would do that, and that evolved into we would hold all day film fest called Vulgarthons.
I remember hearing about those. Yeah.
Where we would show like Clerks, Marth, Chasing Amy, and Dogma all in one day, and then Kevin would fly out like Jason Lee to do a Q&A, like a cast Q&A after each movie. It was really cool. Did it here in Red Bank, steps away from the comic book store, so people could have the whole Kevin Smith experience. It was it was really awesome.
So I'm curious on that phone call. I mean, I think that's like everybody's dream. Like you do something and it gets noticed by like one of your like a celebrity that you really enjoy. Like, was it surprising first when you got the phone call?
Yeah. I was like, who is this? And then I was like, is that Jason Mewes in the background? So I was like, and I know Silent Bob only has one line in Clerks, but Kevin's got a pretty distinctive voice.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I thought it was a joke at first, but it was Kevin like, hey man, is this Ming? Like, hey man, like I love what you did. Like let's keep going. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. I was hoping maybe he would send me an email or something going, hey man, hey kid, great job.
Totally.
Keep it up. I'm not going to sue you, but I saw what you did. Thank you or whatever. But that evolved into something much more. So, but that's how all that started.
That's really kind of like because like today it's Twitter. Like you'll at like Kevin Smith or somebody you really like you hope they get a retweet from it or a like or they message you or something like that. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see like you're way ahead of the curve on that. Yeah.
And now with Facebook and Instagram, if you say you like a director or an actor or any kind of artist that may have been famous, or I don't want to say higher caliber, but and you want to get their attention, it's easy now.
Yeah.
You just send them a tweet or something. Most likely they'll see it. Yeah, back then it was a little harder.
But the excitement, I would say, is just the same. Because, like, you'll text me and be like, oh, my God, look, Kevin liked this tweet.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, look, Mark Hamill retweeted her tweet. I'm like,
that was
what?
your big one.
Yeah.
That never gets old.
That should be everybody's big one.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill retweeted this. Okay.
Yeah, he's very active on the internet. So, yeah, God bless that guy, man.
I know.
Yeah, for sure.
So
awesome.
when did you make the journey over to Red Bank and kind of make that your home?
I met Kevin in 90. I built the website at winter of 95. Kevin started, I think, February 96. And then and I end up, I was in Michigan at the time, so I ended up meeting him for the first time, I think, that August. And I built the site, I think, in May. Like, we launched it in May. So, yeah, we launched it. I didn't even meet him until a couple months later. And then, yeah, I kind of did it on the side. I graduated shortly after from college. I went and got a real job for like 4 years. But I would do boring work by day. My first job was like a nonprofit, and I moved to doing like government contracting. All website stuff, and then at night I would come home and do View Askew Universe,
kind of do your passion.
Kevin Smith stuff, which was pretty awesome. And then that moved on to at one point Ben Affleck started posting on the message board, and
cool.
at some point he was like, I need my own website, and so he hit me up. He's like, hey, can you build me a website? So I ran his official site for like 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
But in that period, Ben and Matt launched a internet startup company called Live Planet. They did a TV show project called Project Greenlight.
Oh, I remember
which
that.
you may not remember. That was late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. And Wes Craven on that.
Yeah. And they were like, we need guys who could build websites and know stuff about the internet. So he hired me, and I ended up working for Live Planet for a year. So I had to move out to LA and like breathe smog and deal with traffic and assholes and stuff out in LA. But it was a good experience. But after that was going good until 9/11 happened. 9/11 happened, and they had a whole slate of projects that kind of got wiped out after that. It was just the wrong climate to do what they wanted to do with that. So after that ended, Kevin was like, "Why don't you come work for me full time? You know, you've obviously proven yourself,
right?
And what I'm doing is growing." I had just set up his online store right around then, and that took off. So he had the budget to hire a guy full time.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, the only thing is you have to move to New Jersey. And I was like, all right, why not?
Was he living in New Jersey at the time, or was he?
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, he had. Let's see, he had his kid. It was about 2002. So his kid was about 2-3 years old. He'd been married about 2 or 3 years. So he was living here. But that was his one caveat. I was like, I'm here. The store's here. The office is here. You got to move to New Jersey. I'm like, all right. I had enough of LA at that point. So
you moved to New Jersey, and then he moves to LA.
That's what I was gonna say.
It was literally 2 months after I moved here. He was like, hey, guess what? I'm like, what? He's like, I bought a house in LA, Ben Affleck's old house. In fact, I'm moving to LA. I'm like, so I could have stayed. It probably worked out for the best. I don't think I would have wanted to stay that much longer. I mean, I love LA in small bursts, but living there is tough, man. Unless you're an actor and you have a ton of money, and you don't have to wait in line for anything, and people kind of roll out the red carpet for you. Life is a little easier in LA in that regards. I think it all worked out. So I've been in Jersey ever since 2002. We still View Skew still has Kevin's still got an office here, store's still here. It all worked out. We shot a TV show here,
right?
And it was all meant to happen. Sometimes weird stuff just happens in your life, but it all kind of works out.
How often do you go back and kind of like think about like just the timeline that you've gone through? Because it's a really awesome story from beginning to end. It's kind of like I think every nerd's kind of dream journey. I mean,
every day I wake up, I'm still in disbelief that I got to work with a guy I really admired. A guy whose work that I was a fan of, or I'm still a fan of, and I got to do what I love to do, but for him, which was cool. And then there's all those stuff that came out of it, the podcasting, the TV show. It's all really weird, but that's what happens when you work with Kevin. just weird stuff happens.
Yeah, and now it's evolved into you being able to do your own thing in terms of like, hey, now I'm on a TV. You know, I was building websites and now I'm on a TV show, and then I went from a TV show to I have podcasts, and now I go to cons on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's not a bad life. You won't hear me complaining.
So we were kind of talking about this a little bit. So like when you're out and about, how often do you get recognized?
Every so often. I don't get recognized as much as, say, Brian Johnson. He's got a very distinctive facial hair, shall we say. He's got a 4 foot long beard, and so he gets recognized more. I boiled it down to I realized the reason why people weren't coming up to me as often as him is because they didn't want to appear racist.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole like all Asians look alike, so they didn't want to be wrong if it wasn't me. So I get a lot of people. I don't notice it. My friends do, where they'll start pointing at me. It's like, oh my god, I think that's Ming Chen. Like I don't really see that. But it's funny, like you'll see people whipping out their phones and Googling me,
just to make sure.
As they come up to meet me, like I can see on the corner of their phone that comic book man, like it's the Google Images search just to make sure. So I'm sure it happens more often than I think, but I mean at a Comic-Con definitely. I mean that's a slam dunk, but in the just every so often in the real world it'll happen. Then an even smaller percentage, it'll be like at the right time. Like, if you're trying to get into a bar and it's too crowded and there's a line outside, but
there it is.
You'll be walking by the door, man. Just going to wait. I'm going to go wait in line. I'm not going to try to cut. But I'm walking by and he was like, "Aren't you the guy?" I was like, "Yeah,
yes,
yeah, I am."
Yes,
yeah. He's like, just how many you got with you? Just 2. It's like, come on in.
Yeah,
that's
you're the guy, and then you're like, "Yes, I am." And then he's like, "I loved you in Rush Hour," and you're like, Wait
a second.
I'll take that.
Guy.
Okay, I'll take that, man. Rush Hour, Bruce Lee, Glenn from Walking Dead. I'll take all of that, man. I'll take all of that. Jet Li from The Expendables or Ocean's 11. Definitely take all of that. So
until they're like, okay, do a move, and then you're like, I'm tired.
I'm really drunk, man. Like, I'm really sore, man. It was a really hard day today. Yeah. But every so often that works out. Not as often as I'd like, but. Yeah, I boil it down. The whole goal in life, in anybody's life, is to not have to wait in line anymore.
Yeah.
Whether you're, for anybody, even if you're like Nick Cage or Robert De Niro. I don't know, I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah.
But the goal is not to have to wait in line anymore.
We were talking about on the way up, Rich took his kids to Six Flags.
Oh, man.
And he got the fast pass for it.
Oh, don't you? Oh, I love those things. Those things where, like, let's just skip the line.
Did you go to Six Flags in Gurnee, Illinois? Is that the one you went to? Or
no, there's one in St. Louis. It's just outside of St. Louis.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Love roller coasters.
And I got one of those fast passes. Oh, yeah. And my kids were actually like almost embarrassed because we're walking down the line.
Yeah.
And like you see like other kids are like, how come they? And then the parents have to be like, well, they have a fast. And my kids are like almost like they're doing this like walk of shame. They're like, we're sorry. He bought it. And we just. I'm like, no, don't be like that. I'm like, we own this.
Yeah, Ben, I paid for this.
Yeah,
man.
like I paid for this.
That's funny. That's awesome. I think the only I remember Ben Affleck when he was dating J-Lo, they went to a Six Flags in Valencia, California, and they didn't need the fast pass. They got walked up to the front of the line, and then everyone in line was like, "What an asshole!" But if you pay for the right,
exactly.
take it, man.
Yeah,
it means you're raising your kids right, though,
all
man.
day
They
long.
They didn't feel right cutting in front of people.
Well, okay,
they'll learn quick.
So I will say that's how they acted at first. After a few times, then they were like, "Okay, everybody." Fast pass. I got the fast pass here. Everybody move.
I know. It's like Wayne's World. It's like, backstage. Yeah. That's awesome.
But you said, like, typically, like, with that, you only would ride, like, what, 3 or 4 rides if you had to wait in line? And you guys did?
Oh, yeah.
In a day? Yeah.
Yeah, in a day, usually, like, 3 or 4. But we managed to hit pretty much the entire park in, like, 6 hours.
Time is money, ladies and gentlemen. And it's totally worth it. So.
Yeah, especially if you're going for just the day, then you should, totally get that.
Yeah, it's great. I remember waiting 3 hours to ride one ride that lasted, I think, 45 seconds.
Me too.
But it was their new ride, and we had to go on it. And it may have been based on a DC character, probably, which made it even more like must ride.
Exactly. But that's the way all the ones in Six Flags are. There's the Batman. There's the Mr. Freeze. There's the Superman.
Remember when Batman came out? Like, that was the whole thing. Like, you wait in line 3 hours. It's like a 15, 30-second ride, and then you go right back to wait in line.
Yeah. The thing with that though is when you wait in line for a roller coaster, you go on the roller coaster and you're like, oh, that was amazing, and then you go and you wait for a minute. But when you have this fast pass thing, you go on a roller coaster, then you immediately go on another one, then you immediately go on another one,
right?
And after like 4 hours, like it takes a toll on your body, like you feel exhausted,
right?
And you're just like after like 5 hours of it, I was like, oh, I can't, no more.
You got beat up.
I did.
Kids were pretty beat up too. Like, we're ready to go home.
Yeah, even the kids. Yeah, my youngest is 12, and even she was like, I can't, no more, we're done. Can we just like sit for a minute? Is it,
Wow.
Yeah. So that I will say is...
Be careful what you wish for, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. There is such a thing as too much candy.
So we're in Red Bank.
Yes.
Richard and I came up here. We've been called our Brogrimage, our Kevin Smith Brogrimage.
All right, yeah, tell me about this.
So we set this up probably like last June or so. It was shortly after Kevin's heart attack. We'd always talked about when they come up here, see the stash, and the quick stop, kind of see all the sites. Because I listened to the Tales of Highland or Stories of Highland or something like that.
People's History.
People's History. Yeah. Our Peephole. Was it
Peephole, yeah. Peephole's History.
Yeah. And I always listen to that. It's like, oh my God, this place seems pretty cool. And then in February last year, Kevin Smith had his heart attack, and he survived. And like, to me, like, I don't get too weepy over celebrities that pass away. I mean, it's sad, but I don't feel like any kind of like strong emotion towards
but with
it.
Kevin, I think everyone's connected to him in one way or the other. Kevin and Stan Lee are like two guys I could name.
Yeah.
You feel some, even though you may have never met him, maybe never even seen him in person, you feel a connection to him just based on his public persona.
Yeah, because
we met him once. Did meet him once. And I think the only thing we mentioned was like, hey, we have one of our podcasts is on your network, and he's like, he's like, oh, we'll put you on because we're
Pod U, man.
Pod U, yep.
Pod U on the Smodcast Network.
Yeah,
well done, gentlemen.
That was pretty exciting.
They didn't take everybody. I heard about the process, and it was pretty intense. So
we weren't sure about because Will put up the thing saying, oh, hey, we're doing this, and we put our episode in. I think we put in like one of our older ones. I was like, well, that's not one of our good ones. How about this draft one? Like we did a scary moments draft. Yeah. And that got up there, and like we're so self-doubting. It's like, well, maybe nobody else put one up. So maybe we just got selected because of
that was totally our thought process.
Pretty sure there were thousands of podcasts submitted. So
that makes me feel better.
Yeah, you guys won out.
Aww.
So yeah, where'd you meet Kevin?
So we went to Podcast Movement 2016, I think, in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he was the keynote, and we got up there super early, right up front. We actually saw him at the Comedy Club the night before.
Okay, yeah.
And so, because, like I said, Kevin's always been the inspiration for our show, like the Why Not movement. Yep. And Richard and I's tale is really very similar to Scott and Kevin's. We were best friends growing up. We moved to separate places. We kind of started drifting apart a little bit, seeing each other. And at one point, we were playing D&D back home. And Richard was working quite a bit, and I was running the game. And when I got down there, I had to leave right as Rich was coming in. And so we had like a 10-minute conversation.
Right.
I'm getting in my car, heading home. And I'm thinking, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is my best friend in the whole wide world. Why am I not talking to him more often? And so as I'm driving home, I text him, listen, because we talked about doing a podcast for years.
Yeah.
Ping-pong it. Like right when Smodcast came out. We're like, we should do this.
Yeah, we should do a podcast. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. And then we wouldn't talk about it for like another 6 months.
Yeah, or we talk to people like, that's stupid. Who would listen to it? And you're like, yeah, you're right. No,
that's a good point. No wrong.
But on the way home, I'm like, listen, we need to force ourselves once a week to talk to each other about anything and everything. And essentially that's what we did. And it'll be 5 years in June since we did that.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
5 years in June.
The thing I love to brag a little bit about is it's been a brand new episode every week since we started.
Yeah.
We have not missed a week, which is awesome.
Wow, in 5 years?
Yeah.
That's awesome. We teach classes in here, so that people are like, well, what are your tips for having a successful podcast?
Consistency.
Consistency, number one, and two, pick a co-host who is as dedicated as you are. Most podcasts fail because one of the hosts just flakes out and loses the fire, the passion. There's a lot of drama going around, but it's usually one of the co-hosts crumbling, and once that goes down, the whole podcast kind of ceases. So,
it's life gets in the way. That's what happened with just our friendships. So we call like once a month, but life gets in the way. And it's like, okay, well, we talked last month, right? It's like, no, we haven't talked for 6 months. But jumping back to when we met Kevin, it was at that podcast movement.
Yeah.
We walked out. We're just basically I think we both were a little bit kind of like awestruck.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because we both whenever I knew he was going to be there, I was like, oh, it'd be awesome if we could meet him. And he did his keynote, and then he walked away, and we were outside. I was like, well, that was cool, but it'd been really nice if we could. Oh, there he is. Yeah. And I think we'd both played in our head like, oh my gosh, I want to tell you all the things you've done for us, even though you've heard it a million times. Because from him having us create this podcast, I've written a couple scripts. I was actually trying to do a comic at the time. But it was just I just want to regurgitate something you've probably heard a million times, but just want to thank you for it. And so I go up there and I start talking, and he kind of looks at me, and I freeze. And I think Richard kind of stands like, I got this. He starts talking. Kevin looks at him. He freezes. And then I kind of finished it off. But I always love to. We got a picture with him, which we both kind of didn't even think about, but Kevin brought it up. He's like,
the picture?
He's like, hey, you want a picture?
Yeah.
And I've heard him tell the stories that he does that fairly often because people get awestruck.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Or they feel weird asking. But I'm sort of like, I know you're talking. I know you want the photo. In this day and age where everybody has a photographic device on them and everyone's online somewhere. Of course, you want to post that photo. So
because you're gonna kick yourself after you leave. Like, oh crap, why didn't we ask for a picture?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to be that forward. Like, to be so arrogant. It's like, of course you want a photo with me, but I'm like him. Like, picture? You want a picture? Like, no. If you say no, I won't be hurt. But everyone, of course, you want the picture. So
of course they do.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, most people are just too shy to ask.
Hands down.
Or they forget. You're so in the moment, you forget sometimes.
Wow.
And so that's the first time we met him. And so what started our Brogrimage? Again, he had the heart attack. And we're thinking it's like, okay, well, kind of like a scary, like, oh my gosh, like if we're ever going to make this trip up here, like we probably should do it sooner than later. Also, too, there's discussions of with the comic book shop. I don't remember what episode it was. I think he was talking about how comic book men started.
Yeah.
And there was concerns before the show, like, oh, well, maybe we've only got a year or two left in the comic book shop. We might be closing it down. And so with everything kind of happening, it's like, well, we probably needed to make this journey. Just, because if we wait another 4, 10, 15 years, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're closing it down. Like, well, shit, we missed our moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, what are we waiting for?
Yeah, exactly.
So we started playing it back in June. Want to make sure we could get everything put together, and we're like, okay, let's do this. We're gonna go. We're gonna go see all the sites.
Yeah.
And while we've been here, we've seen a bunch of cool stuff.
And I will say that between the two of us, you have definitely been the wife in this situation because I got in the car and you handed me a typed out itinerary that had there's this place and here's the address for this place.
Oh yeah, you do all the planning.
He did all the planning.
That's what I do too. I travel a lot for conventions, but sometimes Mike and Brian will come with me. Brian typically stays in his hotel room afterwards, but Mike will come out every so often, or more often now. And I have all the places I want to hit. No one else has done any research or anything. But
that's me.
It's not a strict itinerary, but it's just kind of like, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and we'll shoot it from the head.
I heard this place was cool.
Exactly.
I heard this place was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
We should go here, and just make sure every moment's filled, and you're not well, we came all this way. Like, what do you want to do now? Like,
exactly.
I don't know.
I love it. I love that he did it, but I like to rib him for it because I know he's like, well, if I didn't do it, nobody would do it.
I do that too. Like, well, why I didn't do all the work? But that's how it is every time. You think Mike and Brian are doing any work? No, it's like on the show, man. I do all the work. It's not. It's pretty true to life. But you don't want to leave a trip, like a cool trip that you planned, and then find out that
there was this thing.
Yeah, like the biggest ball of twine is was in the next town, and we didn't go see it. It's like, what, you idiot! Why didn't you tell me?
Love you didn't see a big ball of twine.
It's out there. I can't remember what city it's in, but it's not here.
No. There's a big. Wait a minute. There's a big ball.
It's not here. No, the Asbury Park Boardwalk is here though, and that's where God goes to play skee ball.
That's
which,
true.
I heard you guys went.
We did,
which is awesome.
Yeah. So it was an 18-hour drive. I live in the middle of Missouri. Pick Richard up in Illinois.
Okay.
And we drove
through many states.
The
18 hours.
Yeah.
When I first picked Richard up, so we started a brand new tradition, I think, on driving, which I think should become a thing.
Okay.
When I first picked Richard up, he cues up his phone and he plays
Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham.
Okay, a.k.a. the song from Vacation.
Exactly.
Yes. So as we broke state lines, we played that song and sung it and danced. So we broke Indiana.
Ohio, Pennsylvania,
West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Jersey.
In West Virginia, although we also did Country Roads.
That's true.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so you really themed this thing.
Yeah.
That all kind of came off the cuff, though. That stuff wasn't planned.
No.
But yeah, as we were in Red Bank, came right in, saw Secret Stash first. We saw Mike there. I think
was that your very first stop? You pulled into Red Bank, and so you guys are all frazzled from the road. And you walk in, and there's Mike Zapcic.
Yeah, and it was kind of, and that's why I asked you about when people
didn't even talk to him because I think we were both so like frayed,
sure,
and just kind of like car lagged. I guess is the best way to describe it. That we just kind of walked around and like looked at stuff and
we ran past him because he was walking down the street too, and we saw him. And I kind of like wanted. I
didn't notice that.
I wanted to go up and say hi again, but by the time my brain connected, because I'd been awake for like 36 hours, I was like, "Yeah, it's no big deal. I don't want to walk up and be like, I'm John. Nice to meet you."
Yeah, at that point, you're like, I think I just saw George Lucas.
Yeah,
he gets that a lot.
He's kind of gotten that look going on.
He's got
like
the George Lucas
hair
look.
And
Can you do the voice? Can you do a Lucas voice?
He probably could, like
everybody can.
The power of myth and lightsabers, and midichlorians, and everyone's got their bad George Lucas. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's cool. So you walk through the front door. Like, what's your first thought?
It's pretty cool. Like I see the walrus first thing. See the shirts.
That's the first thing you see is the walrus.
It's a little ways back. That's the first one I noticed, though. Well, like kind of when you're walking through, kind of like frazzled. That's the first thing my mind kind of focused on.
All right, that's cool.
Okay.
Because Tusk was a pretty big movie, like inspiring me. Because when I talked about writing too, that really helped me kind of decide, like, well, why not do that? Because it was a podcast story.
Yeah.
We had just done one about, it was like one of our first episodes we did about zombie bears, like Nazi zombie bears.
Sure.
And so, it was like, why don't I just try to write this out and see what happens? And so did that. It was just kind of a fun thing. And Tusk was that exact same thing. It always kind of pulls at my heartstring at the very end of that movie. They play the actual podcast episode a little bit there.
Yeah.
I saw it twice in theaters, once with my mother-in-law.
You took your mother-in-law?
I took my mother-in-law.
She must be a hell of a woman.
She is. So the other story I love to tell with my mother-in-law, so she's a big Kevin Smith fan too. Yeah. And so I was going to go to St. Louis to see Kevin Smith do a Q&A. It was my first one I ever went to.
Yeah.
And my wife's kind of like, she's not into that stuff at all. Like, she doesn't like movies or anything at all. But my mother-in-law does, so I was like, I'll go with you. So we go down there, we're sitting, and I wanted to ask a question, so I get in line. And it's like almost towards the end, I get to ask my question. I'm going on and talking, and I say something about like, I brought my mother-in-law here. He's like, you brought your mother-in-law here?
Yeah.
Like, does she know what she's getting into? I'm like, yeah. Like, she's like the best woman ever. Like, to tell you how great a woman she is, I actually went to see Tusk with her.
I must have kicked off a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Kevin's on stage. He's like, wait, you took your wife to Tusk? I'm like, no, my mother-in-law.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, so he giggled out of that. So I at least got to make him laugh, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to make funny people laugh. So
it is,
done, my friend.
He is a good actor, though, so he probably was like, show's almost over.
Yeah.
Almost done. Stop talking.
But here in Red Bank, the first thing was the Secret Stash. Got to see all that. We went back.
Talked to Mike. Did you meet Walt?
No, Walt wasn't there.
No, Walt. Okay.
Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
So
we went Saturday and Sunday.
That's right. Yeah, because we got in Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sunday we went back to kind of buy some stuff. We saw Sunday Jeff. Didn't say hi to him either.
Yeah.
Again, it's just the awkwardness to be like, oh, you're Sunday Jeff. Even though they're like, yeah, I am, of course.
Or don't be fooled. He loves it.
Does he?
He's a very low key guy, but he loves it.
But yeah, we went there. We kind of ran around there a little bit, but we went back and crashed to get some sleep.
Yeah.
Sunday was really our first kind of full Brogrimage around town. So we went back downtown. We went to Quick Stop.
Okay, got to do that.
Yep, did the picture on the side of the wall in black and white. We went
why
to.
You didn't think to pick that filter.
I don't know, right?
What filter should I pick? I'm like
so
a black
obvious,
and white filter.
Yeah, duh.
We went to 21 Jackson Street, just drove by it to see, which it's changed quite a bit.
Yeah, the house.
Yeah.
The one that Kevin Smith grew up in, 21 Jackson Street.
Which the joke that as we're driving, there was like, yeah, he probably jerked off a lot in that house.
That was what you said.
That's what,
And I was like, well, now my mind.
Now it's awkward.
Yeah.
Next stop.
It's not a joke. It's pretty much fact at this point. He's talked about it. So, yeah.
And then the favorite thing that I think it's the place, but in one of his episodes during Emo Kev, he talks about Ponder Rock.
Okay.
And somebody on Reddit I'd posted that we're doing this trip if they knew any places we should go.
Yeah.
And Ponder Rock was one of my top on my list. And they gave me the directions for it, which is pretty much right across that little river there.
Yeah.
At least that's what they said.
Right.
So we got to go out there. We walked past a pretty sketchy looking house.
Yeah, it was condemned and boarded up, and yeah.
But it was during the day, so we were safe. And just to be sure, you're like, Shawn, go up ahead. I'll stand back.
I did. I was told that you were in front and you were facing the house.
Yeah. But that was pretty cool to be able to get there and just kind of see that. And it's kind of like the movie magic type stuff. Like, even if that really wasn't Ponder Rock, although the other person said it, that saw the picture we posted said it was still kind of cool to have that pondering moment.
Yeah.
But what else did we see while we're in Red Bank?
Let's see.
In the area.
Did you guys go to the funeral parlor?
No, we haven't done the funeral parlor yet.
I haven't done
that's
the funeral
one
parlor.
to add to the list.
There it is.
We drove by the YMCA.
Yeah.
We drove by
the rec center.
The Marina Diner from Chasing Amy is out there in Atlantic Islands.
Yeah, that's one that was on our list to check out too. That diner.
Yeah, that appears twice in two separate movies. One, it's a Chasing Amy diner. Oh, they've renovated, but the Ben Affleck booth is still in that location.
See, you should have just asked him. He would have came up with a list for you.
That's true. That's what we're thinking. Is like they're surprised there's not like a checklist of Kevin Smith things.
Yeah, I think I was gonna do one, and I know I got busy, so I never did it. And then you see the diner again in Clerks 2. A young Harley Quinn Smith is waving to Dante out the big picture window.
So how many people do you hear actually kind of do? Because we weren't sure how many people do this. Come up kind of for this kind of experience of seeing
all the time.
Is it all the time?
Yeah, all the time.
Nice.
Like constantly, which is cool. I mean, I would have done it had I not. Had I not met Kevin, I probably would have. That would have been a bucket list item for me as well, as to go see the Kevin Smith stuff. So,
it's just cool to be in places of history that have kind of like inspired you to do things.
Yeah.
As we're driving past Ponder Rock, it's like, we'll probably never be in this place ever again in our lives. It's you talk about once in a lifetime moment type things. Like that's kind of what that is.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, for sure.
So far, it's definitely been worth the 17+ hour drive.
Speaking of that, I have a story for you, gentlemen.
All right.
And I may need some advice. 18 hours is a long time to be in a car with somebody. It's a long time to be in a car alone. Might be better with a friend. You have someone to talk to, keep you awake, joke around with. You guys could probably even record a podcast on the way back. I don't know if you brought recording gear, but
yes,
I did one with Brian Johnson on the road. Mind you, we were wearing headsets, so it was a little safer. Although if you listen to that, it's an episode of Tell 'em Steve Dave. I can't remember what number, but I almost wrecked the car. So Kevin's shooting Jen Sunbot reboot right now in New Orleans.
Yeah,
and people are like, hey, are they putting you guys in it? And so next week we're going down to shoot one day with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
However, as you guys know, Walt Flanagan doesn't fly.
No.
So we have to drive him down to New Orleans from New Jersey, which according to Google Maps is 18 and a half hours.
Oh, yeah.
So now this is, and we've kind of agreed that we would all go together. And so I'm going to be stuck in some type of vehicle for 18 and a half hours plus stops. One way.
I was gonna say. So here's the thing: are you doing the whole drive in one shot?
The plan is to do it all in one shot.
Yeah, okay.
Is to not stop. So and Mike, ever the optimist, was like, well, if it's all four of us, we'll just all take 4.5 hour shifts. Big deal. We could each do 4.5 hours. Divided up like that, it sounds like cake.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was like, Mike, I can barely stand you for 4.5 hours. And you're my friend. You're a nice guy. You don't rag on me. Like, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how to jump out of a moving car, but it might be time to learn.
No.
Just got to do the little tuck and roll thing.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like it's easy. It's easy being in a like. Okay, so we drove.
Did you do it all in one shot?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 3 years ago, we drove to Dallas.
Okay.
For a podcast conference, and that was about 10. And the entire time we just, I mean, honestly, I think that trip we just sat and just talked for like 3 hours, and then was like, hey, we should record this.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was probably like 3-4 hours before we even thought to hit the record button.
Okay, sure.
And then we had like 3 hours worth of
Yeah, it ended up being 2 pretty long episodes.
Yeah, like 3 hours
great.
worth of podcast
That's
material, which that recorder picks up really
Oh,
nice
yeah,
in the car. So I guess
So survival.
So I was gonna say, so surviving in a car. See, with 4 people in a car, like
It's tough to figure out how the conversation's going to go with that, because with Rich and I, like the 18-hour drive here was essentially maybe just a us podcast episode.
Right.
I mean, because how we talk on our show is how we just talk in real life.
Yeah.
And so it was it went by relatively easy. We stopped about every 2.5, 3 hours, fill up the tank and grab a drink, and then we jump right back in.
Okay. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay. This could be interesting. There could be some nerves that we're getting on each other's nerves. I really don't know how this is going to go. It's going to be very interesting.
I'd probably say if it does get that nerve moment, kind of just put the headphones on,
sure,
kind of sit and quiet. But
do the Walt Flanagan, you mean? Yeah, that's what Walt does. He tunes out the world. He puts on some earbuds.
Yeah,
sits back, listens to music. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and sleeping. I think I don't think you're gonna get sleep.
Not with 4 people.
Not with 4 people in the car. You're not. So it's gonna be 18 hours, no sleep. I think it's gonna be the last probably 4 or 5 is when things are. You're really gonna start to feel the tension.
Okay.
Well, and then when you get it, because so we drove the 18 hours. We're a little bit sleepy. We get into Red Bank and we're trying to figure out where to park.
Right.
And so I'm a little delirious driving because I drove the whole way just because I'm kind of handsy with stuff like that. And so we're driving, and I don't know if it's just how the roads are set up here, but usually whenever where we're from, whenever they say you need to turn here, it's usually in front of the turning spot.
Right, not behind.
Yeah.
They do a little differently here.
Yeah, and so when we're getting there, I say turn here, and so I turn down a one-way road. And a car was coming, no accident or anything, avoided it, but it just kind of kind of set my nerves there too.
Happens a lot here.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's like parking, turn here. Oh, crap.
Oh, no, it's not.
One way. Oh.
Exit. Oops, I missed it. Or, don't worry. Yeah, don't feel bad.
Exactly. That's what I told him. I was like, don't feel bad. He's like, it wasn't even close.
But they
didn't hit anything.
They were really nice. We did get the finger once on our way here, but that's a little further down. But
welcome to Jersey.
But the one thing I noticed is so I pulled in front of them. They were super cool, and they didn't honk at me or yell or anything.
No.
But the other thing I noticed that's really cool here is whenever you need to turn left, everybody will make an effort to let you go in front of them.
Sure.
So if you're at a stoplight, we had somebody back up for us. It's
people seem
super nice with that, which is probably more common here, maybe because there's a lot of
cars.
those kinds of turns.
Good on you, Jersey.
But as we got back, as we parked to head to the stash for the first run, I was like, I want to grab some of our bumper stickers. So if we see anybody, we can give them our bumper stickers. So we found a bathroom, then went back to the car. And I didn't see this, but as I'm in the car, somebody's waiting for me. But I tried to make an effort to say hey, I'm just getting something. I'm not pulling my car out.
Right.
And I think you were smoking, and
I was.
What'd you see? Because I didn't see it.
Well, because as you shut the door and walked away, and as we were walking away, the car went around to looking for another spot and saw us and then gave us the finger.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, okay. Well,
welcome to Jersey.
Welcome to Jersey.
Was it Brian Johnson?
It might have been. No,
he might have shaved, though, if it was.
Yeah.
That would have been more likely. That would have been more likely. Well, I'm glad you guys made it here okay. Sounds like you're having a great time. And I think you're here for another day, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. I told you guys to go down to our beloved Yestercades, the all-you-can-play arcade.
Yeah, we're going to definitely hit that up today.
I'm excited.
So the only place...
Yeah, what's left on the list?
Well, we got the diner. There's probably that... which you'd mentioned some of the stuff downtown. We want to hit up the secret stash one more time, maybe pick up a few last-minute things. Yeah. The one thing that I don't know where it's at, maybe you know.
Okay.
So Kevin's always talked about the first time that he told Walt and Brian that he was going to go to film school.
Oh, yeah, that pizza parlor.
The pizza place, yeah. Is that even around still?
I don't know if he's ever said it by name, but if you go down to Highlands, there's a place called Frederico's.
Okay.
And it's right in the center of town. And I can only imagine, knowing what I know of Walt, who wouldn't have traveled out of town to meet Kevin anywhere, and who didn't even have a license till he was 26.
Oh, wow.
And that place has been around, I think, for as long as they have. I only have to imagine that has to be it.
Okay.
So
is it good pizza worth going?
I mean, all the pizza's good here.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good place. But I have to imagine that has to be the place.
Okay.
Yeah. If I see Walt later on today, I'll ask him if he remembers.
Okay. Yeah,
and,
I thought that was when you're trying to do this Brogrimage kind of honor. It's that seemed like one of the key spots of his life and his move to making films.
I can only imagine that's the only place. So yeah, if you go down the main strip in Highlands, New Jersey, Bay Avenue, it's a pretty prominent pizza place called I believe it's called Frederico's.
Okay, that might be lunch or dinner plans.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
So for you on an 18-hour car ride, I would suggest
headphones.
I would keep the recorder on, so that way, at the very least, there could be some shaming. Be like, look, this is what you're like.
Yeah.
after sitting in a car with you for this is what you're
just
like.
See, if you just record, you can edit it, but you see the deterioration
exactly
of just everyone's nerves.
Everybody's descent into madness.
Okay.
But it's going to be that last, because we were talking, the last 15 minutes of a drive is typically where, the accidents or the stuff happens.
Yep.
So making sure you know where you're going to park and all that would probably make that a lot more easier.
All right. This should be interesting. I've been in New Orleans several times. Mike's been once or twice. Brian's definitely been several times. I don't think Walt's ever been there. So
Gotcha.
He's not the Bourbon Street Mardi Gras
Yeah.
guy.
No.
Should be interesting. But for me, one of my favorite cities.
Oh,
bar
best
none,
food I've
sure.
ever had was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Soft shell crabs, had that one time down there.
Man.
Oh, that's living. That's living.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
very nice.
hot button topics, probably stay off those. I'm not sure where you guys stand.
The wall flank and the patented wall flank and hot button topics.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like opening up that can of worms like you start that trip out.
Well, you can't avoid them there. You're trapped in a car.
Oh, yeah.
We're hitting that. I'll bring the hot button. Man. I'll bring it.
Well, we talked about this. Let's jump to this.
Yeah, and then the other issue, Walt has very limited palate. He eats like 3 things, but he's very his sense of smell is almost like super heroic.
Really?
Whereas, I remember we were going somewhere and someone whipped out a sandwich and he just put his T-shirt over his nose. It was really weird. And I'm like, dude, this is just a sandwich. But he's like, I couldn't stand the smell, man. I thought I was gonna throw up. He's very sensitive to weird smells and stuff. So
is it like the meats or just anything?
like the oil, there's like oil and vinegar and spices. It was it was a Jersey sandwich that we were eating on the way up to New York City one time.
So if you want to have him stop talking, just have one of those break.
I should. Wherever we stop, just get the most noxious.
Just have it in a Ziploc, maybe in case of emergency, open Ziploc.
Just spicy Funyuns and like cheese sticks, like that sausage and cheese combo, Tabasco Slim Jims, just like the worst smelling. Yeah, that's
I wouldn't break that out early though, because you eat a sandwich like that at hour 4. By hour 8, you're gonna be like, we need to stop.
Yeah, right.
I would say the one thing, we've been on a couple long trips, but this is the first time we brought a cooler on the trip.
Okay.
And I think that was actually a really good idea.
Changed your life?
Yeah, because we had water in there, we had soda, we had some Red Bulls.
Just reach back there.
Yeah, you just jump in, go to the bathroom, give them money.
Sandwiches.
We did have sandwiches, so you could pull those through. So it was kind of nice to do that because you didn't have to worry about trying to find a place to eat. Because a lot of times the places are right off the interstate.
Sure.
But if it's like, McDonald's or Hardee's or whatever this way, and you turn and you drive another 4 miles before you find it. Yeah. So I think that really helped.
Yeah, you don't want to stop either.
Yeah, it kills the momentum.
Stop for 5 minutes, it ends up being half an hour.
Yeah,
and it throws off your whole schedule. And I know you got the agenda going. So
exactly.
Which was cool with that.
We have places to be.
I think when we kicked off the drive, it said we'd get here 11:53 Eastern time.
Okay.
And we end up getting here at 12:15.
Okay.
So with stops and everything like that.
Jeez, man. That's pretty. That's right on the dot, man, almost.
I was thinking we'd get here 3 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah.
But we destroyed that. Way back we might take a little
did you
bit
factor
slower.
in the time change?
The Google Maps did for us.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
He was wondering if you factored in the time change on the itinerary.
Right. I forgot. I drove cross country when I forgot that you're switching time zones. So it was like you're all thrown off then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to figure that, but yeah, I did get that in there. I thought it through. So we've been playing this since June. So
that's true. Proud of you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, well done.
Yep. So I guess as we got a little time left. So what's some of your con stories? I know you go to a bunch. I'm sure you have a bunch that you've told, but what are some of your top con stories?
Oh man, I've been everywhere. I'm actually trying to cut back this year as I'm trying to run my own small business.
Yeah.
So part of running your own small business is actually being present at the business. So I mean, during the weekdays, I'm here all the time. But on the if most of my travels on the weekends, which we have people coming in. You guys wanted to come in yesterday, ideally, and thank you for pushing to today as I raced back from where was it, Huntsville, Alabama, home of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I just love going to. I love going to cons anyways. I would go even if I wasn't on Comic Book Man. I wouldn't go to 30 a year.
Yeah.
But I would go to 3 or 4. But it's nice to have that opportunity to see conventions all around the world now.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And see what fandom's like in a West Palm Beach, Florida, or like like Anaheim, California,
Yeah.
or Edinburgh, Scotland, even.
Nice.
That's one place we got to go to. So
how different is it over there? Like, does it feel
it's
like
not? It's
Okay.
great. It's
I
the
love that.
same. Everyone's in cosplay. Everyone loves the same comic book artists because they're known worldwide.
Yeah.
And same thing that there are panels, there are cosplay contests, there are guests signing autographs at tables, or vendors selling books. Although in Scotland it's cool because you got different versions. Yeah, like the UK version of the Amazing Spider-Man, or you got UK versions of G.I. Joe figures.
Oh, I gotcha.
And toys, and that part was pretty cool. But as an invited guest, you get to meet all the other invited guests, and usually they're cooler than you. A Mark Hamill, say,
Yeah.
Someone of that caliber, or people from The Walking Dead, which is cool, as I'm a big fan of that show. Or just like the guest list for cons is really diverse now. It used to be limited to like vintage TV shows, like Chips, or like the Dukes of Hazzard, onto and sci-fi was where it was based out of. So you meet like the cast of Star Trek or something,
right.
But now it's everything. So like the big one right now is that they're reuniting the cast of The Office.
Okay.
And not what you would think of when you go to a
No, not at all.
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But it's pop culture, and there's a lot of crossover there. If you're a comic book geek, you probably like The Office, which is rang true. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty much anything that was popular.
Anything
They're trying to reunite the cast.
The following is now.
Yeah, they're trying to reunite the cast. So there was a horror convention this past weekend. They got the cast of The Craft together.
Oh, that would
was
be cool.
I saw that.
And I saw the autograph line for that, and there was a photo op line where you could get a photo with the whole cast. And like it was a mile long. I was like, wow, man, that's pretty cool.
That's a great movie. I always love The Craft.
I have it on DVD still.
Nice.
Yeah, Nev Campbell, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But as an invited guest, you get a little special access where if you're a guest, even if they don't know who you are, they see you're a guest on the list, so they don't want to be disrespectful. So
Right.
yeah, nice to meet you, comic book man. No, what's that all about?
You're kind of on the end, like one of the people.
Exactly. Yeah. You've gotten through the door already, and they figure if you're in the room already, you must be cool somewhere, even though they don't know you.
Yeah.
Who's the coolest person you met that kind of surprised you? Like you thought, like, oh my gosh, if I meet this person, it's probably not going to be fun or cool, but
there have been a couple. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, so at the time, even now, Jeffrey Dean Morgan who plays Negan, but he's big on Supernatural, but he was a comedian in The Watchmen, which was awesome for me. But I was at a con with him, and it was one of his first ones after Walking Dead blew up, so he was like way A-list.
Yeah, definitely.
And I left the convention center to get something. I was walking back in, I saw him. He was outside smoking a cigarette, and I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty cool." Like, you always have that moment of hesitation, It's I'd love to meet him. He's I think he's a cool dude. What am I going to say to him? It's the same thing. Even though I'm on TV, it doesn't matter. It's like what am I going to say? And then you. And this goes for anybody. You just got to take that. You just got to take that moment. And just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Go. If you always take the chance.
Yeah.
Always take the shot. Don't worry about getting. I don't know what I was worried about. Just maybe he might be mean. He might be standoffish. It rarely ever happens.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna go say hi to him, and we're on the same network, so I got that. I kind of got that as an in. So I went. I was like, and I'm babbling. I'm like, hey man, I think you're really great, man. Like you're the perfect Negan. It's great to meet you. I'm blah blah comic book man Kevin Smith. AMC blah blah blah. He's like Ming, man, I know who you are. Like,
I bet that was awesome.
It's like, dude, I watched your show, and my mind is like,
yeah.
I'm like, what?
What do you mean you watch?
Yeah, and I'm like, all right,
watch things.
It's like, all right, maybe he caught a commercial and he's just saying that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's watching an episode that he was on. He saw the commercial and he's just being nice. And I'm like, really? He's like, why? And my question was like, why are you watching our show? Like, no matter what. And he's like, oh no, man, I love pop culture. I love the comic books. I'm a geek.
Yeah.
It's like, I really love your show. It's like, man, I saw that episode where Ralph Macchio came in. He showed you how to wax on, wax off. Like, I thought that was a really great episode. I was like, holy shit, he really watched it.
That's pretty
really
cool.
Watched it. So he was like a super cool dude. And he's like, he's kind of like, anything you need, man, just let me know. And we're trying to get him on the show. Didn't happen, but it seemed like he would have come on. And I found he was a really big geek and just like a hell of a guy. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know you hear stories sometimes, and we talked about this on the way up, where like you hear people say like, "Oh my gosh, I met this celebrity," and they're kind of a jerk, and like we always thought, it's like, well, you might have met him on a bad day.
I don't use that as an excuse. Like you're at that level, and even if I'm I know everyone's different, but to me, if you're at a con.
Oh, definitely. If you're at a con,
you gotta be nice to everybody because 100%. They are 100% there to see you.
Yeah.
And even if you're a bad day, like suck it up, man. Yeah. Because that's their one and probably
that's
their
one and only.
Right. They're the ones putting food on your table. It's true. Yeah. I know it's a cliche, but they're the ones paying your bills and everything. Yeah. Like without them, you're nothing.
You're gonna have 100 people in line telling you how awesome you are. Like
exactly. It sure. I mean, to me, it sure beats the opposite, man. Where there are people in this world who's like, man, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Whether it's on TV or whatever.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. So I like that it's the opposite for us. We're like, hey man, your show's cool. Like, I love, when I love the same things you love. And I just want to have a conversation with them. Because
I think that's at the end. I think that's what everybody wants. Like to meet somebody and like to sit and have like an actual like two-way conversation where. Yeah. They're engaged with what you're saying. You're engaged with what they're saying. Yeah. Yeah,
it happens. But for the most part, the people they invite to cons are pretty friendly, and they get most of the people get it.
Yeah.
Even if you're having a bad day or whatever, you're in a bad mood, they'll at least make an effort to like, dude, you're an actor.
Yeah. Good point.
Act like you want to be here.
Use this as a training exercise.
Act like you want to be here. At the very least.
That's funny.
Just act like you want to be here. So
you're studying for a role where you're a nice celebrity. Try that.
Yeah, I don't buy the like having a bad day excuse. I'm like, you can act like you're not having a bad day.
No, I could. Yeah,
at a con, I agree. Yeah. Out in public, I could see.
I guess maybe in the situation like if I'm sitting having dinner.
Yeah.
With or if I'm just out in the world, just kind of if I'm like walking down the street. I mean, I think I would. Me personally, I would probably make every effort to be. To be super gracious because it's like you said. At the end of the I feel like I would approach it with a huge degree of humility.
Yeah.
Thank you for
that's. I mean, that's how I look at it. I'm like, and in the end, you're in a big building with a bunch of people dressed up in cosplay, and your only job is to be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
Talking to somebody in a good with a good attitude. Probably taking a photo with them and signing a glossy piece of paper with a picture on it. The whole thing is so absurd that come on, man, you can't for a minute with this fan that you can't be nice to them. Like, come on, I mean, it does happen. There are a couple. There have been a couple people, or there. I've heard like some actors are like actually very socially awkward. So
and I can see that.
Or
too.
Some are just jerks. Yeah, it happens, man.
It happens.
So in a million years, would you ever think that you'd be doing those cons?
No. Actually, and I laughed at. Sometimes I would laugh at like some of the old WWF stars.
I got you. Yeah.
Like, I was like, what was Virgil's charging $20 for an autograph? It's like, what a crime that is. I would laugh at him. And I think I even said in a podcast to Mike, I was like, man, like if you ever see me charging for my autograph, like just shoot me because that's it just seems so absurd at the time.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, I never thought that was going to happen. So
it makes sense. Like I was always kind of that way too. It's like, why would I spend $50 for this this autograph thing? But really, you're paying for the your
experience,
time, the experience,
and the memory. It's for a lot of people. It's well worth it. I paid $50 for Christian Slater's autograph.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who was in the movie Pump Up the Volume, which inspired my experiences in podcasting. Pirate Radio,
college
and all
pirate
that.
Radio.
Yeah. And for him, I was like, "Hey man, can you write "talk hard" on this, like your catchphrase from the movie?" He's like, "Yeah, man."
That's awesome.
It was that's totally worth it.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah. If you don't think it's worth it, then great. Don't pay it. You have the choice. No one's forcing you.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah, but that's a cool keepsake. And then you can't, if you're listening, you can't see it, but right behind you is a triple signed Karate Kid poster with Sensei Kreese, Daniel LaRusso, and Johnny. Like that's my childhood right there, man.
Yeah.
I look at that poster and it just brings back great memories. So
yeah, we haven't mentioned it. We're in a shared universe, and there's all great stuff all over the walls here. So as we're looking through this, you kind of mentioned a couple things. Would the Pump Up the Volume poster be your ideal favorite one, or do you have?
In here, that's probably we have a metal cap shield, which you guys need to get a photo with afterwards.
I was gonna say,
for sure.
Of all the things in this room, let's take a moment to notice that there's actually 3 rooms that are probably all filled with all sorts of amazing. Like I would love to have one of these rooms just for myself. But to have these 3 juxtaposed next to each other, I could spend a good half hour, 45 minutes just looking at things. Yeah,
this was our whole philosophy was to fill. Just fill it with our world in here. When we opened up this podcast studio, I didn't want to be the boring, typical recording studio with echo-proof tiles. And they're not very interesting. Most recording studios are not very interesting. They
cookie cutter kind of just
serve their purpose to record. Usually great music and vocals, but they're very boring, intimidating too. So Mike and I were like, why don't we put all our stuff that we've collected over our years at the conventions, all our collectibles that we don't have room for at home that are probably sitting in storage. They need to be displayed. Somebody needs to see these. So that's what we did, put it up on the walls here. And I think instantly it puts people at ease. We got a lot of people, first-time podcasters that come in here, whether they're invited as guests of other podcasts or they're starting their own. And I think it puts people at ease immediately.
I think it's great just to have a space where people, either newer podcasters that don't have any equipment or, or even, people that have been doing it for let's say a few months or a year, and they have a microphone and a recorder, but they're in their kitchen and it's the acoustics aren't that great or whatever. This is a way for you to number one, you get to you can sit and you can record I would definitely 100% call this a professional space. I don't care what's on the walls. It's I'm sitting here, I'm talking. It's definitely a professional space. The fact that there's a bunch of cool shit on the walls, that's just gravy.
Yeah.
That's the icing on the cake. Yeah.
So we use it as a litmus test too. Like if you come in here, and you're not a fan of at least one thing in here, then turn around and leave because this is probably not the place for you.
Not your space.
So I haven't heard you talk about it too much, but I'm kind of curious about your podcast journey in general. Because we're talking about this, like you started your own company. Kevin kind of started his podcast, and you kind of jumped out.
It was very unlikely. So Kevin started in 2007, and the format of podcasting perfect for him.
Oh yeah,
yes,
guy who
very much so.
I think when Kevin moved out to LA, I probably have this recorded somewhere, but he contacted a radio station. He was like, "Hey, I'd like to do a weekly 2 or 3 hour Saturday evening radio show. Can you give me some time?" So they're like, "All right, we'll give you a shot." So I think one night he went down and took over a radio station for 2 hours. It was him.
Was it Ralph?
It wasn't Ralph.
Okay.
It wasn't Ralph. Ralph wasn't on there. It was him, Brian Lynch, our friend who is now a pretty prominent Hollywood screenwriter. Mm-hmm. And God, I think it was someone else that I can't remember. It might have been Scott or Malcolm, or I can't remember. And they went and they did a radio show. I gotta see if I can find that file because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool to listen to.
But the problem was, he was like, "Well, okay, I can't curse, right? You can't curse. Can I say whatever I want?" It's like you're a loose cannon. Like, you got to dial it back because this is public radio. There are FCC laws. They had to break every so often for take breaks and read ads and stuff. So it wasn't. I don't think it was the ideal experience that he wanted, especially for him, where Kevin just likes to speak freely, whatever's on his mind. It wasn't the medium that he thought it was going to be. So, and then podcasting came along though, where he could curse, could go over 3 hours, didn't have to take breaks, there were no rules. You say whatever he wanted, and it was perfect. So it was natural that he would start a podcast. For him to do it as early as he did, I thought that's the cool part.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Well, he's before all the big ones.
I was gonna say at the time it was at the time he put out a podcast, it was him and maybe Corolla,
and then
Leo Laporte.
Yeah. And then Ricky Gervais, I think, may have started around then, and I think Gervais was kind of the big fish at the time.
Yeah,
and so it's perfect for him. And since he was famous already, of course, he had the automatic listener fan base.
Well, and that was back in the day before you really got it on your phone, too.
Yeah.
Because I remember going to Quick Stop Entertainment, downloading the MP3 and listening to it on my computer.
Yeah, or you could stream it from there. But that's that's the only way to get it. So that was before there was a podcast app on the phone. And before there was any like delivery vehicle on anybody's phones. I think 2007 was when the iPhone came out, so there were no outside apps at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
For that didn't exist till like 2009. So for him to do it, like that was going to happen no matter what. But I think 2009 he was like, "Hey, I want to start a network, a Smodcast podcast network. We need other shows that aren't just me." And he came to me and he was like, "Hey, I want you to start a podcast." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't broadcast. I don't have any training. I sit behind a computer all day. I just want to, I Photoshop shit. And, I put up your podcast. That's what I do. I put your podcast so everyone can listen to it. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, we need more shows. I know you could do this. You have an opinion. You have the gear already because we had Jersey gear and then the gear he had at home. Yeah. So whenever he came back, he could record. So I was like, you have all the gear already. Just start recording something. And I'm like, why would I start this? Like, you're famous and you're funny and you can tell a story. I'm none of that.
Yeah. I have none of these things.
There's no reason I should be podcasting. He's like, no, I need you to start a show. He's like, you know what? It's real easy. Like, what do you love? What do you love to do? I'm like, I love Star Wars. It's like, okay, love comic books, love pop culture. I love food. I was like, bam, that's your podcast.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? I was like, do you think you can talk about all of that and fill 45, like an hour?
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. He's like, all right, that's it. Record tomorrow. I want to, record tomorrow. We're going to put it up. That's the new show. So I was like, why? I need a co-host. Like, well, grab Zapcic. You guys would probably work well together. So at that, me and Mike had worked together. We'd had conversations, but we'd never sat down at length and talked about anything like that in that format.
So you're more like acquaintances at that point, maybe a little.
I mean, coworkers is more accurate. Yeah,
Okay.
Coworkers for a while, for 7 years, but we had never sat down. We had never taken a car trip together, and this pre-con, so we never traveled together. We talk at the store and BS, kind of like we did on Comic Book Men, talking about inane topics, but to actually sit down with someone for an hour and talk to them is different.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, hey, Kevin wants us to start a podcast. And he had the same reaction. He was like, what? We're not broadcasters. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? But let's just, whatever we have to do it. Kevin says, like, it was almost like you have to do it or you're fired, but it wasn't. But so I hooked up the gear and I was like, hey, let's talk. I came up with some stuff I wanted to talk about, which is pop culture, comic book related. Sure. And we recorded. And at the end, I was like, and Kevin only won an hour. I think we went 2.
Oh, nice.
I was like, holy crap. So it's 2 hours already? And, since we're in the same stuff and we were friends already, it was pretty easy. And we hit off really well. And I was like, wow, that was fun, huh? And I listened back. I was like, that was really good. It's like, why was it so good? I was like, because you were talking about stuff that you love, idiot. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Anybody can do this.
Yeah, that's why I love like you see some people try to do like, oh, well, it's the hot podcast. That's what I do, and those always kind of falter. It's like I'm not interested in that.
That's why there's 80 million true crime podcasts out there.
Oh yeah. But if you're not into true crime, it's not going to be that good. So I just want to talk about stuff that I'm into because I know I can talk about it with passion.
Exactly.
And that comes through the voice, through the podcast. There's no visuals, so you're relying on how passionately you can talk about something. So yes, that was in 2009. So 300 episodes later, we're still going.
Nice. Did you have
that was I Saw Comics. So
did you have the name when you started, or did it take a little bit?
We didn't. So we recorded the first episode, and I'm like, dude, what do you want to call this? And Walt had written, as a joke, a song called I Saw Comics, and this band called Courage My Love had recorded this really great song. They were a professional band from Canada, but they blew it out. They knocked it out of the park because they had a contest to see if any independent artists wanted to record that as a real song. And theirs was clearly, it was produced. It was awesome. It's a great song. It's they could put that out and it might chart somewhere. But we were like, well, we want to. That was Walt's song. We don't want to rip it up. But what a great title! It was like. So Kevin was like, so did you come up with a name yet? And I'm like, all right, well, we want to call it We Sell Comics. I know Walt wrote that song, I Sell Comics, and we didn't want to directly rip it off.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's called I Sell Comics, game, set, match. Like, that's
nice.
it. That's set. I'm like, he's like, you got the theme song already. It's right there. Like, use that. And we were afraid of pissing off Walt, but to this day the joke is we stole his name, which is pretty great. So, but that's how that started.
So how many? I know, like early on when they did kind of Sir and stuff like that, you were kind of doing Smorning a little bit.
Then it turned into like we were doing it every morning, but we were doing it once a week. Yeah.
So how many podcasts have you done that you've retired, or how many are you currently doing?
I mean,
because I know you did like a bunch early on.
We have 2 currently going on. Although it's been a while. It's ever since we started this place. The ironic part is we're recording, a ton of episodes here at the studio, and we're finding hard to carve out time to record our own, which stinks. We'll get back, but So I Saw Comics is we're sitting on an episode 300.
I saw that, yeah.
Which we actually got the Tom Steve Dave podcast to record, started by Brian Johnson, Walt Flanagan, and Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
We're waiting to release that, and then kind of born from that, we just do a show called the Ming and Mike Show where we talk about whatever the hell we wanted. Because we were talking about whatever the hell we wanted on I Saw Comics, because we thought, well, we have this platform, but we were getting complaints that we weren't talking about comics.
Oh, I got you.
Which is what we started.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I was like, why don't we just start another pod where we talk about our misadventures at cons or whatever's on our mind. So that was almost at 100. So, but we used to do a morning show on Kevin's network, and we recorded hundreds of those. I lost count, man. It's got to be over 500 at this point, which is insane.
Do they still play those on the Sir streaming?
I think I don't even know what I think there's a guy named Will Wilkins runs that. I think there is a live stream somewhere, but live anything is kind of dead right now. So
we'll see a tweet from every now and then where they'll play our episode that's on the pod.
Oh yeah, which is kind of cool. It's like, oh man, it's on. Let's listen to it.
You'll see it put up every now and again. You're like, oh,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
retweet it every single time.
So that's a long story to say that everybody should be podcasting.
Yes,
like it truly. If you have an opinion on something, that's a podcast.
Yeah.
If you just want to talk to your friend, that's a podcast.
And I love it too. So like from this show, we it was always the idea of like making sure that you record with somebody like it's special in your life too. And about 2 years ago, we did that with our dads because Kevin always talked about like, hey, first thing you lose is the sound of somebody's voice, so we decided, hey, we want to do a Father's Day episode. So we're able to get both our dads.
Yeah, we got both our dads, which was honestly it was super helpful because, so actually it was the same week Kevin had his heart attack.
Okay,
I lost my father to a stroke. He had a stroke and passed away. Oh man,
that sucks.
So I was in San Diego and I'm seeing these tweets about Kevin and so that's going on and then, but the first thing I did, as soon as things got bad, the first thing I did, I re-downloaded that episode, that Father's Day episode, because I have that. I have it forever.
You'll always have that,
and I have the raw audio still, and it's great. It's so great.
It's good that you did that. I recently recorded with my mom, and it's different when you put a microphone in front of somebody. I didn't know much. I didn't know much about my parents. Really, it just never came up in conversation.
It was the same thing with me. It was once you started talking, and then he started talking about when he was a kid, and he grew up in Chicago in the 60s, and
I learned my mom was like a hell of an ice figure skater at one point. She was really good at ice skating. When my parents got married, each set of parents had never met the other kid, but the families had a sit down in Taiwan, so the in-laws met each other. That's where they kind of gave the blessing.
Gotcha.
But I was like, wow, that'd be weird if if I didn't meet my mother-in-law before I got married. Like, how did she know that I wasn't like a complete raging jerk or something? Right. But logistically, it just didn't work out. So my parents met after they immigrated to this country, and they got married here. It was a small wedding. They didn't have the means to fly people out and have a big wedding. So
be an interesting conversation to sit in with, like the potential future in-laws trying to sell the other. Like, no, trust me. Like they're good.
Right. Like, I
He's
wonder.
Super nice.
I know. I raised him right, but I did. How often does that happen? I imagine it's very rare where you don't meet your future in-law, daughter or son-in-law.
Yeah, it's usually a big step in relationships. It's like, okay, well, we're pretty serious at this point. Hey, I'm going to introduce you to my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Before there's any engagement.
But they couldn't because they were an ocean away. However, it's like, hey, well, let's get the next best thing. Let's get his mom and dad. We'll have a dinner with his mom and dad. And even that could have gone south.
Oh, yeah.
That could have gone way south, It's like like Meet the Fockers or something. It could have been like that, and So I'm glad that all worked out.
Definitely.
Glad that all worked out. But it was a great story. So, so my dad was out of town at the time, and of course, so now I gotta get him on.
Yeah,
and then gotta get both of them. So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, I like how Kevin did it though. He sat his mom down, he got her high, and then he recorded.
Yeah, that's what I should have done. Should have just got
some brownies.
Yeah, but Dad, we were doing Skype, and I should have been like, smoke a bunch of weed before you hop on.
Yeah, or can you get edibles? Like, access to edibles? No, like, maybe I'll mail you some. Like,
Yeah, my dad and I both have never done anything like that. If I ever get a chance, I think that'd be fun to sit with him and do that.
Yeah,
he's kind of a goofy guy like me, so it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. How often do you guys record, like in the same room though?
Not that often.
Okay, I was about to say, like, this is
6 times maybe total.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's cool.
It's been really a few.
Yeah.
When we first started, we always did Skype, and we did just do it via the call, so we would talk. But then we started doing the actual video recording of it, so we kind of see each other's interactions.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's that. I mean, God bless technology.
Oh yeah,
right.
It's the next best thing. We do that here. We'll pull up. We can pull up video windows, and people can talk. But I prefer to make fun of people while they're in the same room.
Yeah,
It's usually Mike, but yeah, it's harder to make fun of people when they're not right in front of you.
Yeah, then Mike's like, "Yeah, I've heard the George Lucas joke. Thanks." It's like the 20th time you've told it.
Yeah, but to see him like getting a little red faced and like getting mad right in front of me, like I can't stop. Then the floodgates have opened.
I'm trying to think, we're pretty good about like ribbing each other. I don't know if there's ever been a line that we've crossed.
I don't know. I'm better at it than you.
You are better at it.
I mean, that's all.
Oh yeah, and here in Jersey, as you've seen on the TV show, like there are no lines that you can cross anymore. Yeah, not after 20 years, especially.
So, Comic Book Men, I know it got canceled last year. Which is kind of surprising. Kind of sucks.
Does.
Which, I mean, again, that just seemed like a really awesome experience for all you guys.
Yeah.
Are you?
But in a way, I think like it let you start this.
Yep.
It helped with now you're going to cons almost every weekend. Like, it helps scheduling.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Again, like working with Kevin, like podcasting, and then the show. Like I just kind of fell into it. I didn't. I always laugh because there are a million people out there trying to get their own reality show.
Yeah,
and like I didn't even try. I didn't even want. There was nothing I set out to do. It just happened. It's so much sweeter that way.
Comic Book Men's probably the only reality show that I like to watch.
Okay.
There's a truck stop one that was like in my town.
Yeah.
That they did a reality show. It was just horrible. Like you watch it because it's in your town, but Comic Book Men's one that it didn't feel like a reality show, which I really dug on it.
Yeah, I thought they did. People who produced it did a great job. Kevin was like, hey, they want to shoot a show at the store. I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You'll be on it. The store is pretty well known. It's very photogenic. He's like, no, you don't get it. They want you and Walt and Mike and Brian on it. I'm like, what?
Like
what
on
are you
purpose?
talking about? Yeah, I'm not an actor. He's like, no, it's reality. You get to be yourself. I'm like, well, who wants to see that? And they're like, who wants to see a bunch of idiots? What's the premise? Like, remember, Pawn Stars is going to be like that. Like, okay, people bringing in or trying to buy stuff. Like, but you can't have that all the time. Like, what do you do in between all that? It's like you guys will talk about pop culture and joke around and stuff. And
You'll go on adventures.
I was like, well, this sounds like a great idea.
Well, you guys had a lot of input on the show too. Like
we did it, yeah. Well, the first season we did because it's a pretty. Even though we were ripping off Pawn Stars, it was still no one had done anything in a comic book shop before, so they were like, well, what do we do? No one really there was no blueprint for this, so it was very like let's just see what happens kind of thing. So, you'll notice some quirks in the first season just because no one knew what they were doing. So, if you watch the first season, there's no one in the background. It doesn't look like anyone's chopping. Gotcha. So, later on in the second season, we were like, well, let's get some background people in here. And there were actually people who were wanting to shop there anyways.
Oh, that's good.
So we were like, can you just you have a spare hour, and can you just look like you're buying comics?
Right.
Which they were going to do anyways. So that was cool. The first season, you'll also notice like we never really buy anything.
Yeah, I
the
remember
problem
seeing that.
was Walt was like, well, I don't. This is our money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy anything that I can't flip and sell.
Yeah.
Even I don't care if it's for a TV show.
Yeah.
We got to stay in business. So very rarely do we buy anything because he didn't want to spend the money.
So those interactions were actually real. Like
That totally sounds like
they were
Walt to me.
100% real because he's like, I'm not paying $1,200
That's
for this. I
awesome.
can't flip it. It wasn't until the later seasons like, all right, we're gonna give you a budget,
Oh,
and
cool.
nothing crazy, but would you just buy something? It's not your money, and it's not the
Make
store's money.
people
Like,
happy.
the production will give you a budget to buy stuff if you think it's a good price. So, and then later on, we'll buy it back, and if you can flip it, like you can keep the profit. Like they knew how to motivate him by then.
Right.
So but it was just weird. I was like, no one's going to watch this.
It was 8 seasons?
7
seasons.
Yeah, but a bunch of old guys like crying about basically Star Wars and Back to the Future in a comic book shop. Like I'm like, who's going to watch that? But yeah, what I realized that in every job, whether it be like a fast food restaurant, office job, car wash, whatever, that they're the 4 same guys.
Oh, yeah.
And or girls or whatever arguing about the same thing. So, and thank God, because they related to us, and then they watched the show and they became fans. So yeah, that part worked out.
Yeah, we were coworkers before at a sports bar. And that's how we met.
Really?
He was a cook and I was a server. And we would
That's awesome.
Went from horror movies to comics to
and that's actually kind of what kicked us into Kevin Smith was when after the store or after the restaurant closed down, we'd hang out for a bit and we'd throw up all the VOSQ movies on the big
no way,
TVs.
that's cool.
So we'd watch all of them.
Oh yeah, we watch them at night.
Cool. Eat leftover food.
Yeah.
Drink a beer, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
That's
a good
life.
time.
That's a
Great
good way
time.
to end a night, man.
Yep. Well,
That's cool.
as we're kind of coming to a close, what's next for Ming Chen?
We're trying to make this studio take off, so it seems to be working here, and we don't live in a huge area, like we're not in a major city or anything. And what I found is everyone wants a podcast. We were right on that part, so and it's cool. So the people come in here are telling their friends that they can start a podcast, or telling people how much fun they're having in here. The podcasts are very easily shared on social media, so the word of mouth is starting to spread. So that's cool. But the goal is to get this in every city.
Yeah.
Every major city, like anywhere anyone wants a podcast. I love it. I love podcasting. It's one of the things I've done and consistently over the last 10 years where I haven't lost the love for it.
Yeah. Same boat.
And we get into stuff, TV shows. I did triathlons at one point, like stupid shit like that. And I was like, I don't do them anymore. I was like, that was fun, but I did it. Okay, I don't need to do it anymore. But this is something I want to do like every week, every day. So.
Yeah.
And my philosophy has always been like when you love something, whether it be the movie Clerks or podcasting, you want other people to love it too. So we're trying to spread that love to everybody else. So yeah, I would love to open a shared universe. I would love to share our universe around the universe. So and I love traveling. So if it gives me an excuse to, I was like, oh man, we gotta go check up on the Nashville studio. Like, I'll see you in like 2 days or whatever. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
That's exciting. Yeah, I love your studio. It's great. I thank you very much for having us on and bringing us in.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. You guys are welcome back anytime.
Yeah, if we make this trip again, we will definitely stop by again.
Yeah.
But as we're coming,
I suggest flying perhaps next time.
Yeah,
maybe. Or not.
Although I did like the drive.
Well, we'll figure it out on the drive back.
That's true.
Okay.
I think the drive back will be the true test.
Yeah, I know the way up here, my neck and like my face hurts so much from laughing. Like it's like
great.
nonstop laughing.
That's
the whole
a good
way.
hurt, man.
So
that's a good hurt.
But as we're coming to close, Richard, do you want to do your Richard's closing thoughts?
So here we are. We're in an actual podcasting studio. I'm actually looking at your face, which is A+. So far, this trip in and of itself has been really, really good. I feel like I need to reflect a bit more on it and then have my closing thoughts on that at a later time. But just for the last, hour plus, it's been really awesome. This has been, something that I've been looking forward to from the time we've been here. this moment here has been something that I've been like really kind of super jazzed about, because now I'm sitting in a room filled with a bunch of cool stuff, talking to somebody that I really admire, and we've actually got to sit and have a real conversation, which is what I was saying earlier. I think that's what, conversations are something that everybody can do, and finding common ground and finding, like, oh, you like that, I like that too. And it's great. It's great to be able to do that with somebody that, that you're like, I saw that dude on TV once. I think he makes websites. I don't know. I don't know. He always bitches. Kevin always bitches about him in Squarespace commercials. But it's really been a awesome experience.
Good thoughts. All right. Well, I'll do a little bit of housekeeping as we're closing this out. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. You can like us on Facebook, and you can find us as part of the Pod Bros Network,
which is a completely different universe to share. Not this shared universe. This is another shared universe. It's the Earth 316. That's
the other room.
This is the ultimate. This is the Ultimates universe.
Pod Bros is the what would happen.
Yeah, this is like universe. Yeah, this is podcast. A shared universe prime, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Was there anything else from you, gentlemen, before we close her out?
No, that's all I got.
Yeah, thanks for coming down. First and foremost, thanks for having me. If you want to have as much fun as these gentlemen did, go to ashareduniverse.com.
Perfect.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I'm Ming Chen.
And I say we eat the beaver.
That's how we end it. That's how you close the show out.
I figured.
With eating a beaver.
Perfect.